everyone, and welcome to the Daily Chase, your source for hilarity and the occasional glimpse of that handsome yet elusive creature known only as Chase Victorson. I'm your host, Chase Victorson, no relation. A pair of thieves who broke into the home of an elderly man with the goal of robbing and killing him are being released after finishing their sentences. You may recall that the pair broke into the home of the elderly man only to find him standing there with a gun and that he was a giant gay rapist. When asked if they had learned anything from the whole ordeal, one of the thieves said, quote, "I didn't realize how constipated I was at the time," while the other simply remarked, "It prepared me well for prison." Porn star Emily Willis has suffered a cardiac arrest and fallen into a coma while at a celebrity rehab center. While she remains in a vegetative state, she has seemingly regained consciousness, which explains why she doesn't really move a lot in her latest films. Soap opera star Jennifer Leake from the show The Young and the Restless has died at the age of 76. She is no longer young and no longer restless. Nudists at a UK beach were left terrified after a sea lamprey, shown here, washed up on the shore. Reports say that the sea lamprey was the size of a child, but was not the scariest thing that beachgoers saw that day. You may recall the epidemic of fat, naked old people that live basically on every nude beach everywhere. A seal was seen frolicking on Coney Island the other day before it was guided back to the water. This is reminiscent of the last time seal frolicked on Coney Island, except less needles and less spray paint. A Hamptons compound is rented for a cool $1.5 million for the summer, which is actually pretty cheap when you consider the fact that a Manhattan apartment goes for about that per month. A transgender grandmother has successfully been able to breastfeed their grandchild with the help of experimental drugs. I find this pretty weird, not because a biological male is able to breastfeed, but because he's breastfeeding his grandchild. Abby of the conjoined twins Abby and Brittany Hensel is married. Abby married a former Army medic named Josh Bowling in 2021, but only revealed the nuptials when recently posting about the day on TikTok. People may say this is a weird situation, but I think it's beautiful, and quite frankly, I wish the twins joy, success, and a long and happy life. What I don't really understand is Bowling's motivation. You see, according to reports, he was married once before and got a divorce. So why he would want two wives at once, beyond me. Opponents of the funding cuts to a marine monitoring program in the UK are saying that there is already an increase in surprise shark attacks. However, what they're failing to mention is the fact that planned shark attacks remain the same. An Italian model has claimed that she is so beautiful that people think she's not real, even going so far as to accuse her of using Photoshop on every image of hers. Listen, it's totally understandable because I too am so handsome that I often get asked if I use Photoshop on any of my images. Representative Mike Lawler of New York has rebuked Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene and her idiotic attempt to oust House Speaker Mike Johnson. However, I think Mr. Lawler has it completely wrong. Representative Greene is not an idiot because she tried to oust the speaker. She's an idiot because of all the stupid things she says. Donald Trump has released a new Bible just in time for Easter. Apparently, the new Bible is the traditional Bible with the addition of the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights. President Trump also replaced all references to Jesus, Jesus Christ, and the Messiah with Donald J. Trump. Last week, a helicopter crew conducting an aerial moose survey spotted 3 suspected wolves traveling together in northeast Nevada for the first time in over 100 years. This has prompted state wildlife biologists to ask, since when are there moose in Nevada? Is it meese? Moose? Elbert R. Hillard, who led the Mississippi Department of Archives and History until 2024, has died. Based on his name, he was well over 100 years old. Local churches in Santa Fe, New Mexico are struggling to recruit and keep younger members. Not even an offer from the religious leadership to, quote, cup and tickle the balls while you play Xbox is enough to draw in young members. Scientists have tossed 350,000 coins to prove a theory that coin tosses aren't 50-50, which just goes to show you that scientists really only study the most important things in life. A grandmother has been awarded nearly $4 million after a SWAT team raided her house based on a faulty Find My Phone ping. In other news, I've now dedicated my life to placing iPhones and other Apple accessories around my house and hoping that I get raided by a SWAT team. Authorities have seized 350 birds in connection with an alleged cockfighting ring. According to the sheriff's office, deputies served a search warrant after receiving a tip about cockfighting, which seems odd to me. Just one tip with that many cocks around is pretty suspect, right? And my guess, maybe if they were Jewish, I don't know. Anyways, a total of 350 roosters, chickens, hens, and chicks were all seized and have since been turned over to the SPCA. The birds are scheduled to be euthanized, fried, and fed to the community this weekend. A man has changed his name to, quote, literally anybody else, and is planning on running for president of the United States. Based on exit polling, he is expected to win with 98% of the vote. The United Nations has picked Saudi Arabia to lead a women's rights forum, despite the fact that Saudi Arabia literally giggles every time the words women and rights are used in the same sentence. Harvard has removed the binding of a book in its rare book collection because it was made entirely of human skin. According to the library, it was a long and arduous process to remove the skin without damaging any of the pages. However, says the library, that was nothing compared to finding and reuniting the skin with its true owner. According to a new study out of China, China has a big problem with super gonorrhea, which is a drug-resistant variant of some disease and not the worst superhero name I've ever heard as I originally thought. A Florida deputy was called to the house of a Lee County resident to remove a snake from under the hood of a car. It's not clear what kind of snake it was, but experts speculate that it was likely not a black snake or the deputy would have shot it. Speaking of snakes, venomous snakes were found mating within the walls of an Australian home. The snakes were removed and the house was promptly burned to the ground. And finally, I guess there's been a new broken Guinness World Record. A man drank 1.1 gallons of water and brought it back up to serve as a human fountain for a record-breaking 5 minutes and 51 seconds, which seems like a pretty short amount of time because when I was in China and I drank water, I served as a human fountain for the next 3 days. Anyways, that's about all I know. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.